Hi everyone, my name is Mary and welcome back to Quinn Inc. So we are going to be doing the open poncho, and this one is going to be part 2, and we're going to be doing the hood border. We're going to be tightening up the top where your neck goes. We're going to be doing the tie right here. I'm going to make the poncho much longer than the 25 rows, and you'll see that within the video. And then we'll also finish off with a border that will go around the poncho. Now, I wanted to explain why this poncho is so important to me and why my fur baby is very important to me. Her name is Diamond, and I got Diamond when I was right out of high school. I was about 18 years old, and she was with me ever since I was in my late 40s. Diamond died about 2 years ago during COVID, and I had gotten very, very sick. I'm sorry, you're going to hear my husband in the background. So I got COVID, and my cat kept wanting me to fight, and not give up. And then I think she ended up getting COVID, and she ended up passing away. She was pretty old too. She was in her hundreds, because I got her when she was 2 weeks old, and we had a lot of memories with Diamond. So I'm going to show you some pictures of her. You're going to see a picture. Now, Diamond liked to sleep a lot. She was one of those cats that was very sneaky. She liked to sleep a lot. So you're going to see a picture of her sleeping. And you're also going to see a picture of her where she is laying on my husband. Now, she was the one that actually let me know that my husband was a good person and to marry this guy. So she didn't like guys at all. She would scratch you and hurt you, and she was very particular. She had her own little attitude, and she was very particular and picky. Very, very picky cat. But she was very sweet when she wanted to be. When she wanted petty, she was very sweet. And she had been with me for a very, very, very long time. Without further ado, I'm going to show some pictures off, and then we are going to get started on part 2 of the opened Diamond poncho. Okay, so here you go. Oh, and one more thing. We are going to be doing a little diamond applique, and we're going to be putting it onto the cardigan, but I will do that in a completely different video. So I'll show you how to do the diamond applique and how to sew it onto the poncho, and we will do that in a completely different video. Okay, so without further ado, here are pictures of Diamond, and here is part 2 of the Diamond poncho. Alrighty, so we are back, and I made it to the end. So we're just going to put 2 double crochets right into this last stitch right here. Okay, and that is going to finish off this row right here. So then we're going to grab our scissors, which, here we go, and we're just going to cut, yarn over, and pull through. Oops, sorry. So all you're going to do is, so you cut, yarn over, and pull through, and then tighten. Now make sure that you have your purple yarn ready. That was the last of, that was a little ball of yarn, so that's all I have left. We are now going to start on the hood. So let's get our purple yarn ready. Move our poncho out of the way. So what I ended up doing before we start that, let's grab our poncho. I marked off with So this is the top of the poncho right here, as you can see. Let's see here. So this is the top of your poncho, okay? And so what I ended up doing was marking off exactly where my hood is going to be. So from this stitch marker all the way to this stitch marker is going to be 52 stitches. Yes, count that stitch marker as 1, and then count this last one as 52. And so what I ended up doing was counting the stitches right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and in the 11th stitch, I put a stitch marker. And I did the same thing on this side right here. We will come back to this after we are done with our hood. And we're going to put a couple of extra rows on here, and then we will connect our hood. Okay, so to start the hood, okay, so in order to start your hood, you're going to make a slip knot. Okay, and we're going to do a foundation single crochet of 52. And so in order to do a foundation single crochet, you're going to yarn over and chain 2. So 1 and 2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back into that very first chain that you made, just like this. You're going to grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over to make a chain, still 2 loops, yarn over and pull through all 2 of those loops in order to make a single crochet. You're going to go back into that chain that you just made and grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over to make a chain, 2 loops still on your hook, yarn over and make a single crochet. I will do that one more time for you. Go back into that chain that you just made right there. Okay, grab your working yarn and pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over to make a chain, yarn over to make a single crochet. When you've made 52 of those, I will be back shortly. Alrighty, I am back and I made 51. I have to make one more to make 52. So put your hook into that chain, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop to make 2 loops, yarn over and pull through that first loop to make a chain, yarn over and pull through both loops to make a single crochet. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn your work upwards like this. And now you'll be working on the top. And so this is what your chain will look like. It is pretty long. Okay. And so now all we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet into every single stitch till we get to the end. So yarn over, go back into that very first stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So I'm just going to put 1 double crochet into every single stitch until I get to the end. And then I will meet you at the very end. Alrighty, so I am back. I made it to the end, and I'm going to put 1 more double crochet into that last stitch. And there we go. So I made 52 double crochets. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, this is how the pattern is going to follow. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet into each of the next stitches. So I'm only going to do this for this row. When I'm done with this row, I'm going to change to the cream color, but I'm going to change the pattern to where I'm only going to do half double crochets in the cream color, and I'm only going to do 2 rows. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to the light purple. So pretty much once I've done 2 rows of, well, it's actually 3 rows, so it's 3 rows of the dark purple because you have to count this foundation row. Then I'm going to change to this cream color right here that you see. And I'm going to do 2 rows in the half double crochet of the cream. And then I'm going to switch to this light purple, and I'm going to go to double crochet, and I'm going to do 2 rows of that. I should have about 25 rows. When I'm done with this row at the end, we'll switch to the cream and I'll show you the half double crochet, then I'll let you go. And I will come back on camera and show you the 25 rows, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I will see you at the end of this row. Alrighty, we are back. And I got to the end of the row. Now when you get to the end of the row, turn your stitches towards you so that way you can get into that very last stitch. Don't ever forget that last stitch. That's the chain 1 into the double crochet. Okay, so that's our last double crochet. Then you're going to want to grab your scissors. You have to be really careful. Sonia's tail is actually on the counter, so, or on the desk, so I'm trying to cut away from her so we don't hurt her. So yarn over and pull through and pull through. Okay, so that's going to be my 2 rows of dark purple. Her tail is right here. See it? It's wiggling around. She's sitting right next to me. Okay, so now we're going to connect our cream yarn. So put your hook back into your very last stitch. Grab your cream yarn and go ahead and put it onto your hook like this and pull through and pull through. And then go ahead and tie that onto your work. Now for this cream yarn, I am going to only do half double crochets. No double crochets for these 2 rows. So we're going to put our hook back into that stitch, grab our working yarn and pull up a loop. And then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work like this. And to make a half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, go back into your stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of them. Okay, and that is going to be a half double crochet. So I'm going to do this for 2 rows, and then I'm going to change to the light purple. So I'm going to do 1 half double crochet into every single stitch till I get to the end. Do it 1 more time. That should be row number 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're on row number 4. I do count the foundation single crochet down here. I'm going to do about 25 rows and see if my hood is long enough. If my hood is long enough, I will be back on camera. If not, I will do probably a couple more rows. I want it to be about 18 inches long is how long I really want my hood to be. And because these are going to be a little bit shorter rows, I have to do a little bit more. Okay, so I will be back on camera once I have finished my 18 inches or 25 rows, whichever comes first. Okay, I will be back shortly. Remember, you do not have to do what I'm doing. You can actually just keep double crocheting, and you can do it all in 1 color. You can do it in multiple colors. You can change colors every other row or every row. It's your choice. So I will be back shortly once the hood is the length that I want it. And before I go, I will show you my little Sonia, my little Sody bug. Okay, let's turn that camera and let's take a look at her. There she is. Say hello, Sonia. She's like, hi there. There we go. I'll get some light on her so you can see her. There's my baby girl. She's so cute. She is sitting on the desk. There's her little tail. Okay, everyone. We will be back shortly. Alrighty, I apologize. I am back. I am not even done. I went and measured one of my hoods because I thought 18 inches was too long. And I measured it and it's about 15.5 inches long. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do about 20 rows. I was about right about that one. So 20 rows should be about 15.5 inches. Or if I don't have 20 rows, I'm going to try and get to 15.5 inches. So right now, this is the amount that we have right now. So we have about 2 1/4. That's how long we have it right now instead of 2.5. So I've got a little ways to go. I'm going to try and do about 20 rows. If it's about 15.5 inches, I will come back on camera and then we will finish the hood. My apologies. Alrighty, so just keep repeating the color scheme that I had talked about, where it's 2 rows of the dark purple in double crochet, 2 rows of the cream in half double crochet, 2 rows of the light purple in double crochet. And I will be back shortly. And then I will just keep repeating that. So it'll be dark purple, cream, light purple, cream, dark purple, light purple, cream. Okay, be back shortly. Alrighty everyone, we are back and I'm actually on row 28. As you can see, this is how big, I'm going to pull out my camera. This is how big the hood is. That's row 1 up there. So here we go. Okay, so there's 28 rows. I'm on the last 28th row and I'm going to turn it for you so you get to see the measurements. It doesn't want to go all into the camera, so sorry about that. And I have my measuring tape right over here, so let's go ahead and grab it. So this is the beginning point. I'm going to go all the way to the end, and there we go. We're at 15.5. I know it's upside down, but that's how wide it is. I'm going to do one more row. I'm going to do row 29. 20 rows was not big enough, so we did 28 rows and we landed on a cream row, which I'm really excited for. So what we're going to do is I have 2 more stitches. I'm going to half double crochet right into those last 2 stitches, and that whooshing noise that you're hearing, that is our PlayStation. Yes, it's kind of late at night, so we have it on, and my husband's gonna watch some TV, so it's fine. Normally I have that off. Okay, so for row 29, so remember, we counted this foundation single crochet as row number 1, 2, and 3. I'll count them for you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, so as you can see, 28 rows. For row 29, we are going to make it into a single crochet row. That'll finish it off, and then we will close our hood. Okay, so you're going to chain 1, turn your work, okay, and you're going to go back into that very first stitch. Now half double crochet is a little weird. It has this extra stitch right here. You kind of want to turn your stitches towards you, and that's how you can see. Oh, there we go. That's how you can see where your stitches are, so that way you don't get confused about that extra stitch, because then you can go right into it. Those are side stitches. You don't want to do that. So you want to always turn your stitch towards you and look towards the top. Then we're going to yarn over, grab our working yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And then if you have to, and you have to look on the side here, just go in between those stitches like this. Okay, so single crochet until you get to the end. Then we'll fold our hood in half, and I will show you how to close off your hood. Okay, so I will be back at the end of row 29. Alright, so we are back at the end of row number 29. You're just going to put your last single crochet in there. Now before we tie off, there's a few methods that we're going to go through. So let's pull out our hook, let's grab our hood, and let's fold it in half. Okay, that's the easiest thing to do first. Fold your hood in half. And the best way you want to do this is you want to take the bottom of your hood and you want to put this around your neck. If this goes beyond your chin a little bit, then you made it big enough. If not, then you might want to add a couple of stitches. If not, it'll be fine. You can add a border to it and it'll still be fine. So you're going to fold it in half and you want to grab it to where it's on the top. Now you can do a couple of things here, multiple things actually. You can, one, we'll turn it this way. You can be like, I don't want to tie off and I want to do what is called the single crochet method. Okay, so the single crochet method is where you will go back in between the stitches like this and back into this stitch, yarn over and pull through and single crochet. Okay, so you'll just go under both stitches like this and single crochet. That is one method. It actually has a bump on the top and it makes it look kind of funny. Another method you can do is called the slip stitch method. So you go in between both of the stitches like this and you'll pull through and pull through. And this method actually makes a weird little thing go across the side. As you can see right there, it makes these stitches on the side. We're not going to do either of those methods. I don't like them. I don't like weird bumps on the top and stuff. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your scissors and you're going to cut off. Okay? And you're going to yarn over and pull through. We're going to do the sew on method. That's what we're going to do. Now you could have made this super long. I don't really like to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my big old needle and the yarn that I just used, okay, and I'm going to make a long piece of string. This way you can do this if you don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to waste yarn. You grab it from one side and you put it on the other like this, to this side like that, okay, and then you grab the other piece like this and then you pull it over to the other side. And you do this a couple of times. I'm going to do this one more time. Okay, that should give you enough thread that you need. Okay, that's an easy way to do that. Okay, so you're going to put your yarn, you're going to thread it, so this is how I thread it, onto your needle like this. Okay, and then excuse me, you're going to grab your stitches like this. We'll go in a little bit more so you can see. So here's our stitches. You're going to go in between the stitches like this, okay, with your thread. Wait till the thread comes through. Move your yarn tail out of the way. And then you'll just tie on real quick. So that way, okay, so we're going to tie that on really quickly. There we go. And we can do what's called the whip stitch method. Okay, that means you'll go over each of the stitches. So we'll go back through these two like this. I like to squeeze my stuff together. And we'll just go like that. Okay, and then you'll go on the top of these two stitches. So here and here, and if you have to pull your work apart, go for it, and that'll make the yarn go over like that. I'll do that again. So you'll go into this stitch and that stitch. Line your stitches up. If you need to, grab some needles and don't make it too tight, don't make it too loose. but you can kind of pull them like that. And when you use the same color yarn, it actually hides this yarn into it. Now if you ever want to tear this apart, good luck with that. It's very difficult to see, and it becomes very painful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this whip stitch method all the way across, and as you can see my little stitches right here of how I whip stitched it. It's not too tight, and if you feel it's too loose, then you just pull on it and they all pull together. Don't make it too tight. Excuse me. Just go in between the stitches. I kind of pinch them together, as you can see, and then you'll just go all the way across, and I'll meet you down here at the very end when we're done. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. Okay, we are back. We're at the very end here, and we have 4 stitches. So we're actually going to sew into those 4 stitches. So these 2 right here, okay, I'm going to sew right into those, and then we're going to sew into these top ones right here. So you have a stitch right there, oops, sorry, stitch right there and a stitch right there, and yes, we're going to sew right into those. Okay, and that should finish off our sewing. I am actually going to go back into that stitch one more time, and we're going to finish off. Okay, so we're going to make a little loop like this. Okay, so you make a loop just like that. Okay, and then you'll go through that loop. You'll grab this loop right here, kind of tighten it, and then you'll go back through this big loop. Okay, and that will hold on to your knot and just pull slowly like this, nice and tight. Here we go. Okay, and then you can make a little knot. Okay, and nobody, if you tighten it tight enough, nobody will know that. Now I'm going to stick my fingers into, as you can see, into the hood, and we're going to sew in between the stitches like that one, like this. Okay, so we can finish this off. So just sew in between your stitches like this. So we're going to go in between the single crochets. Try and get enough into those stitches, just like that. There we go. Okay, something like that. Okay, and that way it'll kind of pull it inwards, and then you don't even notice that little knot, and then there you are. See, that's what it looks like. It's very unnoticeable. No one's gonna know that you sewed this. And then I'm just gonna go back through my stitches a little bit. Now when you go back through your stitches, don't make this tight because it will pull on your stitches. Okay, so right there, it's gonna loop around this stitch right here. Okay, I'll show you. So pull nice and loose, and there it goes. Boom. And if you make that loose enough, it looks like it's part of the stitching. And then all you have to do is just cut. And there we go. And your hood is pretty much done. Okay, so that's what your hood will look like. We'll open it up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's what your hood looks like. And if you don't like this side of the hood, so if you don't like this side, you can flip it inside out like this. Move the scissors out of the way. Excuse me. You can flip your hood inside out and it will look like this. Okay, it'll look something like that. And then it looks much better, and of course I have to cut off all my strings and sew them in, but that's pretty much what your hood looks like. It's nice and deep. And so now that we are done with the hood, go ahead and grab your poncho, and we are going to get started with putting the border around the top portion around your neck, and then we will sew this onto our poncho. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. Gotta go grab my poncho. Okay, so we are back, and once you grabbed your poncho and you have the front of it facing you with your stitch markers, we're going to start. We're going to start with the light purple yarn, so that way we can keep the pattern that I have here going with the cream, the dark purple, the cream, so this would be light purple. You're going to grab your hook. We are going to do decreases. I know I said we were not going to do any decreases, but we're just going to do one round of decreases and then we're going to attach the hood. So go ahead and put your hook into your stitch, grab your light purple yarn, put it onto your hook and pull through. Whoops, and pull through. And then you're going to tie on your light purple yarn. Okay, and we're going to do double crochet stitches is what we're going to do. Hold on one second, let me move my camera down. Okay, so you're going to put your hook into your stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. You're going to chain one. Okay, and we're going to do a double crochet into that stitch. So yarn over, go into your stitch, whoops, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Double crochet into each, whoops, double crochet into each of the stitches until, so when you get here, you will double crochet into that stitch, move the stitch marker and put it into the new stitch. Okay, let me just double crochet over there and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, once you finally get to that stitch, we'll go in a little bit closer. Once you finally get to that stitch, you're going to double crochet into it. Okay, just like that. And then you're going to pull your hook out, grab your stitch marker, take your stitch marker out like this, okay, and then you're going to put your stitch marker into that stitch that you just made. Okay, just like that. And that way you won't lose that stitch marker, okay? Now we might have to move the stitch markers since we are decreasing. So where I'm going to meet you is, oh, well, we're almost there. So I'm going to meet you right here in just a few seconds. Okay, so once you reach the V portion right here, where you would put 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets, we're going to do these 3 stitches are going to be our double crochet decrease. So I'm just going to double crochet into this very last stitch. Okay, and let me grab some more yarn. So in order to do this decrease, you're going to yarn over, go into the very first stitch. Now we're going to do it over 3 stitches. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. You will have 3 loops on your hook. We are not done. We have one more stitch, so we're going to yarn over, go into the very last stitch, grab our working yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now you have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. We're going to do that in each of our corner or points. Okay, so let me pull this out. So here is the next point. So you're going to double crochet across until you get to 1 stitch, whoops, 1 stitch before the point right here. Okay, so I'll meet you right in this stitch and I'll show you how to do that, the double crochet 3 together decrease again. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. Okay, we are back and there is the 3 stitches that we are going to decrease. So we're going to do this one more time. So you're going to yarn over, go into your very first stitch, grab your working yarn and pull a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2. Now you have 2 loops. Yarn over, go into your next stitch, grab your working yarn and pull a loop. 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through only 2, so it makes 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over after you push those 3 loops back, go into your third and final stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Now you have 2, 4, and 5 stitches. 3 of those you do not need to worry about, so I grab them with my finger and hold them, yarn over and only pull through 2. Now I have 4 loops on my hook, and that's where I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through all 4. And that will decrease 3 double crochets over 3 stitches. We're going to do that in every single point that we have at the top of this poncho. So you should have one more point, which is over here, that you will do that decrease in over 3 stitches. And then you will just double crochet until you get to the end. I will meet you at the end, so don't forget to do your last decrease, and I will meet you right at the end. Okay, so I'm back, and I almost forgot to mention, don't forget to, when you're going across, don't forget to put your stitch marker into your new stitch. So remember, you're going to double crochet into that stitch like this, and then you're going to pull out your hook, grab your stitch marker like this, and put it into your new stitch. Now we are going to be moving the stitch markers since we decreased, because this is no longer going to be where the stitch markers need to be for our hood. So I'm going to meet you at the end, and I will count and find out where we need to put those stitch markers. Okay, so I'm almost there. I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, so we are back, and I have one more stitch left. I actually had to pull out my hook so I could figure out where I need to put my stitch markers, so just double crochet into that very last stitch, boom, and then you're done. So we're just going to do this one row. If you want it tighter, just do another row of decreases. If your if your neck hole is way too big, then do another row of decreases. So what we're going to do is we are now going to cut our yarn, okay, and we're going to yarn over and pull through. So what I ended up doing was I ended up counting all my stitches to find out where 52 was. So originally we did 11 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's where our original stitch marker was. I moved it back by 3. So 1, 2, actually 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And that should be 8. That counts the stitch marker to the very last stitch. And then from this stitch marker to this stitch marker right here counts 52 stitches. And we need those 52 stitches so that way we can crochet, so we can sew our hood right here onto these stitches. And then you have a little bit less opening right here for your border. Okay, so we're going to grab our hood and we are going to sew our hood onto this opening right here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my hood and I'm going to grab the dark purple yarn and then we're going to get to sewing. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, so we are back. So you're gonna put your hook off to the side because we're gonna be sewing in everything. So you're gonna grab your dark purple yarn or whatever yarn that you decided that you wanted. Pull out enough of it as you can. Okay, and I'm gonna show you a really cool trick to know how much yarn you need. Okay, so here's the bottom of our hood. I know it looks a little funny, it's kind of smashed. There you go. So there's our hood piece right there. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your yarn to the length of the hood. Hopefully I can do this on camera. So this is the end of your hood right there. And you're gonna put your yarn right onto that end piece of the hood. I'm sorry if you're hearing coughing in the background. My husband is in the bathroom. And then you're gonna go the length of the hood. Don't make it too tight, okay? And you go all the way to the end like this. And that's where your other piece is, okay? Now I feel that isn't too, that's not long enough. So I'm gonna do it again. So I'm gonna hold the piece where it was at. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back again, the length of my hood. Sorry if you can't see this, I have a small desk, okay? And then I'm gonna grab that piece, and then I'm gonna go back one more time. I feel 3 times is the best. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back around, and then right there. So that is the amount of yarn I feel I'm gonna need when sewing on my hood. Now I'm gonna cut my yarn. Okay, snip. I'm gonna move my purple off to the side, and I'm gonna grab my needle back here. I'm gonna grab my poncho, and then I'm gonna show you how to sew on your hood. So just put your thread onto your needle like this, okay? Put this piece off to the side and grab your poncho. Okay, we are back, and I grabbed my pins because I'm gonna wanna pin this. So what you're gonna do is, this is the bottom of your hood right here, as you can see. Okay, there's the bottom of the hood. And where these stitch markers are right here, I know you can't really see it very well, but where these stitch markers are, you're gonna put that last stitch right here onto that stitch marker, okay? And then I'm going to grab my pin, and I'm going to pin it right here, just like that. Okay, so that way I know, whoop, just like that, so I know this is the starting point. And then you'll just grab your hood like this, and you'll go around grabbing pins like this and just pinning your work. I don't even count the stitches. I just go nice and slowly, just like this. See, it's coming back around. Grab the next pin and pin it. And I'm gonna move this over here. And then it looks like it got pretty big. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin this last stitch right here to where the stitch marker is. And that way it'll make it a little easier for me. Okay, I know this part is kind of boring. And then I'm gonna pull out my thing like this. Grab a pin and just start pinning, just like that. And that's where the part was. Okay, so we're gonna pull out these pins and then just kind of slowly pin it like that. I know it's hard to see. I'll try and move in closer. There we go. And that way you don't have this big old massive thing that's kind of like drooping down. Just like that. And if you want, you can also count your stitches to make sure you have 52 on one side and 52 on the other. I'm going to repin that one. Did not feel tight enough. There we go. Okay, so there we go. So everything's nice and pinned. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to grab my needle and thread now that you've pinned everything, and I'm going to start showing you how to sew this. So I'll be right back. Alright, so once you have grabbed your needle and thread, what you're going to do is I am going to pull out this pin and put it right here. Okay, I am going to go into the very last stitch on the hood, which should be right here. I'm going to go under both bars, and then I'm going to go into this stitch right here, which is the which is the first stitch on our poncho. I'm going to pull through just like this, and when I feel like I get to the end right there, I'm going to tie this on just like that, and then I'm going to go in through the next stitch like this. So you're going to go in through this stitch right here. If you have to, pull them apart, and then I'm going to go in through this stitch right here, and then I'm going to go just like this, and I'm going to go in through the back stitches and out through the front stitches of the poncho. So you'll go in through the back stitches, which will be your hood, and out through the stitches on your poncho. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm doing what you call a whip stitch. So I'm just whip stitching it. And if you have to, you're gonna pull out your needle. You'll go into the next set of stitches, just like this. Okay, so take your time. I am going to sew this all the way around, and when I'm done, I will meet back up with you. Alrighty, we are back, and I'm right at the very end right here. So I got 2 more stitches to go. So I'm just going to sew right into those last 2 stitches. Now if you feel like you have too many stitches on one side and not enough on the other, you'll just go into the next stitch like this and into that same stitch as before and sew into it. That's one way you can do it. But if you have the right amount of stitches, perfect, then you don't have to worry. And now we are going to finish this off. Let me thread my needle real quick. All right, so once we get to the end right here, I'm going to go back in through that stitch one more time to finish this off. Okay, and we're going to make a loop. There's the loop. Okay, I'm going to put my needle back through that loop, and I'll make a new loop and close that loop off, and then go back through that loop and then tighten. Nice and tight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through my stitches and sew this in just like that. Go back through some of your stitches, and then I'm just going to sew into this light purple just like that through a bunch of stitches before I cut off. And I'm going to go back through this stitch right here, try and pull it apart, and you can go back a few times. So there's one. Don't make it too tight, so that way this loop on the end doesn't pull on your stitches. And then I'm going to go back through there, and then I'm done. And then I'm going to kind of pull it apart so that way it looks noticeable. Grab your scissors, cut close to the yarn so it looks like it's part of the, sorry about that, I hit the camera. It's part of your work. Okay, and then your hood portion is now done. That's what it looks like. And fold it over, and it looks like it's actually, it actually looks like it's part of your work now. Okay, now don't forget to take out your stitch markers, because you don't want to poke yourself. So we're going to take those out real quick. And now what we're going to work on is we're going to be working on the border of the hood. Okay, so we're going to be working around the hood like this, all the way around. And I think what I'm going to be using is cream. So I'm going to use cream in this fashion. So let's grab our hooks and let's get to making the border of the hood. Okay, we are back, and I've got my cream yarn, and I am going to be working on, this is the left side of my hood, and this is the right side of my hood. I'm going to be working on the left side of my hood. There it is. And we're just going to put our hooks right into that stitch. Now here's the thing. This is an option. You do not have to make a border. If you like your hood the way it is, then you're done. So I'm going to put my thread right into the side of my hood, and I'm just going to tie on. And we're going to do a very simple border, and the border I want to do is half double crochet. Put your hook into that stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over and chain one. We're going to do half double crochets, so yarn over, go into your stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now, because this is a little difficult, because we're going to be working in the side of the stitches, what I'm going to suggest is start skipping holes. You don't want too many of these stitches. So this looks like it's a double crochet, so I'm going to work into the side of it just like that, and then I'm going to skip over this one right here because that's still our double crochet from that row, and I'm going to work into the next row. So what I'm going to try and do is work only into the row stitches. So I know this is 2 rows, so I'm going to put 2 half double crochets, one into this spacing right here, skip over into the next spacing, which is right there, and put a half double crochet in. So I guess the best way to say this is I am skipping over spaces. You do not have to do that if you don't want to. If you would like, you can go into every single spacing that you find. I kind of don't want to do that. I want to just make sure that I have a half double crochet into each of the rows like that. This will make your hood a little bit tighter. If you feel it's too tight, you can put 2 half double crochets into that same row if that's how you feel you want to do it, just like I just did. So instead of 1 half double crochet, you can put 2 half double crochets, but for these half double crochet rows, I'm only going to put 1 in each row. So if you want into the double crochet rows, you can put 2 instead of 1 if you don't like the tightness. So that is one way you can do that. I'm going to half double crochet all the way around. I will meet you back at the other end of the hood, and we'll go from there. When you get to the top here, just do the same thing up here. Just find spacings and put half double crochets into it. I know this is where we tied off. You can actually skip over that and put a half double crochet into here, skip over and half double crochet into there. It's your choice how you want to do that. I'm just going to half double crochet all the way around, and I will meet you back at the other end. Okay, I will see you soon. Alrighty, so I made it all the way back around, and as you can see, this is the end part of our poncho, and this is where the sleeve is, where we sewed it in. So I have one more stitch that I'm going to half double crochet into. Now I did try on the hood, okay, and I thought it looked really good. So what we're gonna do is here, I'll just pull it up real quick and show you. So we're gonna do one more round around the hood, and it will be the half double crochet. Okay, now to finish off your hood, or to finish off this row, you're gonna go into, there we go, you're gonna go into this stitch right here, and we're going to slip stitch. Okay, I'm just gonna slip stitch right into that slip stitch. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna chain 1 and you're gonna turn your work. And instead of chaining 1 with that slip stitch, what we're going to do instead is we're going to slip stitch back into that first slip stitch. Okay, slip stitch back into here, and then into your next stitch you're going to half double crochet into it, and then half double crochet into every single stitch. Okay, so just half double crochet into every single stitch until you get all the way back around. And if you are wondering what I did for the top of the hood right here, right here, all I did was I skipped over that piece right there. So I half double crochet, skipped over it, and went right into the next spacing. Okay, so I should be back shortly. Alrighty, so we are on the other side. I finally made it. I have one more half double crochet, so I'm going to put that right into the stitch, and then we're going to go into this stitch for a slip stitch. And then we're going to cut off our yarn and be done with the hood. Now if you feel your hood is too short or you want it a little deeper, you can make as many rows as you would like. You can do it in half double crochet, single, double crochet. It's your choice. It's your poncho. Make it how you would like. Yarn over and yarn over. So I'm not going to show the hood off until the very end. What I'm now going to do, since my hood is done and I finally had enough yarn to make it, I'm going to pull out the poncho real quick. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back down to here, and I'm going to finish these rows because I'm sorry, 25 rows is not long enough for me. I want this poncho a lot longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my, I'm going to go on this side. If you're wondering which side this is the left side on the very bottom where it's kind of like the sleeve area. And you can tell by it being the sleeve area because of the green stitch marker. So that's where I'm at. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our white yarn again, our cream one, and I'm going to connect my yarn right into here. And tie on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make this at least about 35 to 40 rows. And the reason why is because I want a longer poncho. I feel this one is too short. So I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to turn my work. And I am now going to start double crocheting into each of the stitches. Now remember, when doing this, you're going to put 2 double crochets in the very first stitch, and in the very last stitch at the end of your row you're going to put 2 double crochets. Okay, and that's where it's going to increase your stitches. Now remember, for your sleeves you're no longer going to be crocheting them, so as you go along and you get to this stitch marker right here, you'll just put 1 double crochet into each of the stitches as you go along here, and you get here, down here to the very back, to your back. Yeah, this is your back portion. You're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets all into this corner, and then go all the way back around, 2 double crochets into the end of the stitch. I'm going to come back and let you know if this is long enough, because quite honestly I thought it was too short. Alright, I will hopefully see you shortly, and then we will go from there. Alright everyone, we are back, and I am showing you all the yarn I have left over. So this is what the original was going to be. It was going to be the wave stitch, and it was going to be a cardigan, but I wanted to make a poncho to make it a lot easier for diamond. So this is all the yarn that we have left over from all the balls of yarn. Now, in order to do a tribute for my kitty girl, I decided to make a pattern in a diamond shape. Now I'm not going to do this one on this video. I will make a new video and show you how to make this in the dark purple, and we'll use a white color instead of the cream, because as you can see I don't have very much cream left. I have more dark purple than light purple. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side and grab my poncho, which is right here. and I'm going to show you how long it is. I got to 34 rows. So this is row number 34. So we will flip it around and show you how long this is. It's very big. This is the hood, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so it's very, very long. I did 34 rows. There's the hood. There's the top right here. Okay, so 34 rows is what I ended up doing. Now, I know I'm talking a lot in this one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start a little border around the side. So this is the top right here, okay, because this is where your hood is, as you can see, okay. So we're going to start up here at the very top, and because I have so much of the light purple yarn right here, you're going to grab your hook and we're going to get started on this. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we are back, and once you have your purple, light purple yarn, we're going to go into the top of the stitch right here, and we're just going to connect. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie on. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do half double crochets. So you're going to put your hook into your stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, and then you're going to chain one, and you're going to half double crochet right into that stitch. So yarn over and pull. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to, for a half double crochet, you've probably seen this already, yarn over, go into your stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go only into the rows. Okay, and so all I'm going to do is I'm going to half double crochet until I get down, so this is the side of the poncho, until I get to the bottom of this stitch right here. Okay, and I'm just going to go into, I guess, just go into the spacings. I wanted to go into the rows, but we're just going to go right into the spacing. So something like this, I'm just going to put 1 stitch in there, and I'm just going to go all the way down the line, finding spaces wherever I can. There's a space, and I'm going to do this for both sides, and I'm probably going to do, I'm going to say 2 rows of this. Okay, so I will meet you down at the other end, and then we'll turn and we'll do 1 more row of this in the light purple. Okay, be right back. Alrighty, so I am back, and I finally made it down to the very end. And I believe I have 1 more stitch I'm going to go into, which is right here, and then this stitch right here. So we're going to go right into that stitch right here. That'll be your last stitch of the row, and half double crochet right into it. Okay, so that's pretty much what it looks like. It's going to be a really pretty border. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to chain 1 and then just turn our work. Okay, and then I'm just going to half double crochet back into each of those stitches until I get back to the end, and then I will meet you back there in just a moment. And then once I'm done doing this side, I am also going to do the other side. Alrighty, so we are back around, and I have a few more stitches. Now we're going to try something a tad bit different. Okay, so as we're coming up onto our very last stitch, hold on, let me get there. Okay, so this is our very last stitch right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to half double crochet in there 3 times and turn the corner. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to turn the corner while I'm doing this because I want this to be more flush. So it looks like we pretty much crocheted it all the way around instead of it looking like we just stopped right there. Okay, so once you got 3 around, you're going to half double crochet into this spacing right next to it. Okay, and then you're going to half double crochet into this spacing. Okay, and now we are among the stitches on the top, so we're going to half double crochet into each of the stitches until we get to our hood portion, which shouldn't be too much, should be very quick. Okay, and if you're also noticing, I do not have my nail polish on. I got a new job, and so the job does not require, does not allow nail polish, so I had to take it off. And I start really soon, so I'm super excited. Okay, so we have one more stitch, and we are coming up right onto the stitch where we had our hood into. So we're going to do something a little different. I want to slip stitch, but I want to slip stitch into this stitch right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right into this top portion of the knot like this, and I'm going to go under those both bars. So there's a knot right there, so I went on top of it and I went into the stitch like that. And then we're just going to, I'll show that again. So there's the stitch right there, okay? And so I went into this bar right here. If it quits splitting, it split again. There we go. And then I went into this bar right there. Now I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through and pull through. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut my yarn. Now you don't have to cut off a lot of yarn, you can just cut off a little bit. Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to do that for the other side. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's 2 rows and it's very pretty. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to do this for the other side. And what I'm going to do next is I'll come back on camera, and there is a portion right here in the back. You see this? Okay, and I want to put that through here so you kind of have a tie on, and you can tie your poncho if you're wanting to. So this is your hood, and then you would just tie it on and it would kind of look like a cape. Okay, so I'm gonna crochet this all the way around for the other side. We'll come back and we'll do that little tie on real quick. I'll show you how to make it. It'll be very quick, super easy. All right, be back shortly. Alrighty, so we're back and both sides are now done, as you can see. Okay, I still need to sew in my strings, but both sides are now done with the 2 rows of half double crochet. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to grab your purple, dark purple yarn, and we're going to do the tie-on like right here. So it'll go through these double crochet stitches, and then this is the front of your poncho. I know my camera is not able to put in the whole entire thing. I'm trying. But this is where you would be able to tie on if you wanted to. And then if you also want to, you can also sew on buttons. And these portions right here can be your buttonholes. So that is another thing you can do if you want buttons on this. Now remember, this is open, so I want it more airy, and I just want this really cool tie on. So we're going to put the poncho off to the side, so I'm just going to put it in the back. And I have my dark purple yarn right here. Now, the only thing that we're going to do to make this tie on is we are going to do a foundation single crochet. Okay, very easy, very simple. You're going to make as many stitches as you need be. So you're going to make a slip knot to start. So yarn over, I pull my fingers out, and then I pull the yarn behind, and I kind of go up and over, and then I tighten. Okay, make sure to put your yarn tail out of the way so you don't accidentally think it's part of it. It's a little twisted. Now, this is going to be a foundation single crochet, something I have been showing you on the channel for a while. So you have your loop onto your hook. You're going to yarn over and you're going to chain 2. So there's 1, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now you have 2 loops, 2 chains on your hook. I flip it over and you'll have a bar here, a bar on the top, and the bar on the bottom. I just go right through like this. Okay, and this is how you will start your foundation single crochet. You're going to grab your working yarn and pull through. Okay, I kind of pull down on a little bit so it gives me some room. And then I'm going to yarn over to make a chain. I still have 2 loops, and I'm going to yarn over and single crochet. Then I'm going to go back into this chain right here that I just made. We're going to do that again. Grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. Grab your working yarn, pull through that first loop to make a chain, yarn over and pull through both loops to make a single crochet. Now, I have made this before for a necklace that I wear around my neck. I made this into a really cool chain, and it was very quick, very easy. It just made it the length that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to foundation single crochet a whole bunch. I'm not exactly sure how many. I'm going to say I'm going to try about 80. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, there's a hair right there. Oh, okay, I got it. So I'm going to foundation single crochet 80. Now if you're wondering, well, how do I count these? Remember, you're always working on the bottom, so you will flip your work upwards and then you will count those stitches. So remember, you're always working on the bottom, so make sure your yarn tail is up instead of down, like that. So if your yarn tail is down, you're working on the top. If your yarn tail is up like this, then you're working on the bottom and you're doing foundation single crochets. And the best way to know what the next stitch is you'll turn it, and it looks like this twisted one right here. That is where you're going to go under both of those bars. Here, I'll move my light in closer. Under both of those bars, okay? It's always the one that looks like it's twisted, okay? Like this one right here. It looks like it's kind of twisted. And then you yarn over. Make sure to give yourself some slack so you can get that chain in there, and then you can get your single crochet. Okay, so I will be back once I have 80 of these. We'll see if it's long enough. If not, I will add more chains. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, so we are back, and I did 80 foundation single crochets, as you can see. That's how long it is. Now, to me, this is not long enough. I want it to go around my neck and be able to tie it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep doing the foundation single crochet until I have 120 of these. So I counted, I have 80 right now. So I'm going to go to 120, and then I will be back on camera and we will see if this is long enough. I'm going to say yes, it'll be long enough. Because I put it around my neck. That's the best way to do this, is you want to put it around your neck and see if this one got a little tight, sorry about that. So you want to put it around your neck and see if it goes around, and then you want to see if you still have some slack, so that way if you want to tie it, you have that option. If you like it short, then 80 rows is perfect for you. Just hold on to it until I get to my 120th row, or yeah, my 120 stitch, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. All right, everyone, we are back, and I made 120 stitches. I had to put stitch markers so that way I wouldn't forget where I was at. So 120, this is long enough, it goes around my neck, and it also will be a great tie. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut off our yarn. Whoops, sorry, I hit my light. So I'm just going to cut, and then I'm just going to yarn over and yarn over. And this will make a really long, it's a chain pretty much, but it's also a tie. So this is what I was talking about in the very beginning, where I wanted this to go around your neck and to be able to tie it kind of like a cape. So there we go, that's what it looks like. This is how long it is. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let us grab our poncho. Now poncho is right behind us. I am going to zoom out. The poncho is right here, and I have it exactly where I want it. So this is your hood. If you miss that, okay, so there's the hood. It's nice and big. Your head can go in there nicely. Now you're going to take your hood, and at the very end here, there is a bunch of stitches, okay? Now we're not going to do the stitches on the hood. You can, if you truly want to, if you want to tie your hood and you want it to come out here, you can do that, but I want mine to come out here, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your chain, not sure what you'd call this, I can't remember, and you're going to find your double crochets right here, not your half double crochets, your double crochets. See all your little double crochets from that row below? That's what I want. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through this hole right here, okay? And I'm going to kind of weave this in and out of the stitches like this. Okay, so in that stitch and out from this stitch like that, okay? So that way it's in and out, in and out, in and out. So I'm going to skip that stitch and I'm going to go into this stitch. Okay, and I'm just going to come out through this stitch right here like that. Okay, so that way it looks like that on the back. And I'm just going to slowly start pulling it. And I have to take out the stitch markers or they will get caught. And don't worry, I'll pull the camera down so that way we can see this better. Alright, so this is what will happen. I'll zoom in. You're on your double crochet row, okay? And you will go over this stitch like this. Okay, and you'll go into this hole and then you'll come out where my finger is right there. Just like, I gotta move that out of the way. Just like this, okay? And what you're gonna eventually do is you're gonna slowly start pulling it through. Oh, there's a stitch marker. Make sure to take your stitch markers out when you do this or you'll ruin your stitches because it'll get stuck and you'll have problems and stuff, okay? So I'm just going to pull this nice and through like this. Make sure I have a nice little length going on, just a little bit. And then I'm just going to go in and out between each of the stitches. I have to look here real quick because I want it to go around the neck, but this looks like a lot of stitches. Maybe we should do this on the hood. Alright, so we'll scrap that plan. Let's do it on the hood portion right here. Okay, so you're going to grab your hood portion instead, and you're going to go behind, let's see here, let's go behind this stitch. I didn't think this through very well, but that's okay. We'll just go right behind here, like this. Okay, we'll go behind this stitch. And I think what we're going to end up doing is let's skip more than one stitch. Instead of skipping one stitch, let's skip like 2 stitches. Okay, so there's 1 stitch right here. So we're going to try and do this as best as we can. So I'm going to go in through the back right here. Where'd it go? It's hard to see this too. You can also use your tail as well. Use your tail and then go through the stitch like that and pull it nice and through. And let's skip like 2 stitches. I think that might be a lot better if we skip stitches. So you'll have to pull your hood down. Okay, and then we'll skip these 2 stitches right here. Apologize for that. And I'm just going to put my yarn in there and then pull through to the other side like this. And the other thing you can also do is get a yarn needle and thread your needle like this. And let's make this a lot easier. Okay, let's thread that needle. So we're right here with the 2 stitches. Let's go behind these 2 stitches right here like this, and let's pull that through. Much better. Okay, so we're going to skip every 2 stitches. Just like that. Okay, and I'll do this with you. because I want to make sure this is long enough. We'll go on to the next 2 stitches. So now this one would go over those 2 stitches right here, and then these 2 stitches right here is where we would go under. Make sure not to go into your stitches with your needle. You're just going under the stitches, and then you're going to pull through and then just kind of, okay, so you'll skip 2 stitches right here, and then these 2 stitches right here are the ones that you'll go through, just like that. Okay, I'll meet you down here at the other end of the hood. Okay, we're on this row right here, the purple one. So I'll be back shortly, okay? Okay, I haven't made it down to the end, but right when I stopped the camera, I went through one of my stitches, as you can see right there. So I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. So you have to skip 2 stitches. So let's say you have to skip these 2 stitches right here and go under these 2 stitches. Put your finger under those 2 stitches like this. Grab your needle and poke with the finger. Make sure your needle is not sharp. That way you do not go through those stitches, okay? Much easier. Okay, I'm almost down at the end. It'll be really quick, and then we'll get on with it. And there we go. So we're now at the very end right here, okay? And when you get to the very end, you're going to put your needle through this hole right where the half double crochets are. Make sure you do not go through any of your stitches, and you're going to pull that right through, just like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back through this hole right here. Okay, I know it looks a little funny, but it's okay. Just go right back through there. Make sure your needle is still threaded, and then pull that right through. Okay, so there we go. It's nice and threaded all the way through. We're going to go back to this one right here, okay? And so we're going to go back to this one right here, okay? And you're going to thread your needle really quickly. My kitty cat's on the desk. There's such a cutie bug. I think she's just wondering what I'm doing. So thread your needle, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go through this hole right here on the very end. And you're going to pull it nice and through. Okay, and then you'll unthread it. And then what we'll do is we'll back out a little bit. Okay, and I'll move the camera up. You can't see it because it's within the stitches, but you'll see on the end right here. And then if you need to, you can always pull on it a tad and then pull on it outward. And that way, if you feel one is like this one is too long and then this one on this side is too short, so I'm just going to pull slightly, kind of measure them out a little bit. Okay, so pull on this side a little bit, like that. And make sure that they're nice and tart. Okay, and then you'll just slowly pull on one side and then pull on the other, so that way they both come out like that. Okay, so there we go. So this is now around the hood, and it's actually very cool and very pretty. I did want to do it down here, but I'm realizing I did not have this long enough to do that section. 120 was big enough. So now what you can do is here, I'll tie it real quick. You can tie it around your hood. Here's your hood. So you can tie it now. So you can tie your hoodie and make it a little tighter. Make it into kind of like a little bow like this. And then there you go. You have yourself a little bow around your neck. And then if you want, you can cut these off right here at the very end, or you can sew it into your work. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to step away from my desk, and I will put this onto the floor, and I will show you what the actual poncho looks like. So we are going to, I'm not going to end the video here. I'm going to end it showing the poncho off. Yeah, you're going to see a bunch of strings. I haven't cut them all off yet, so apologize for that. But so pretty much your poncho is done, and then I will show you what it looks like in another video. I am going to show you how to do this diamond, and then we're going to sew it on the poncho. That'll be in another video. This one is far too long. I think this one's going to be a little bit over an hour, but this is going to be the beginning, the front of your poncho, and we're going to put it right here. Okay, right there onto your poncho. And this is my diamond tribute to my fur baby Diamond. She passed away. She passed away of old age. This was a very long poncho. It took me a long time to do because there was a lot of tears and a lot of crying and just remembrance of her. If I remember, I will show you pictures of my little fur baby. You've probably seen her in a lot of my videos as well. Alright, so let's go and show the poncho off, and then we'll be done with the video. Yay, hooray! Okay, so I will be back soon. I'm gonna step away from my desk. Okay everyone, so we are back. This is the end of part 2 of the open poncho, and I'm showing you what it looks like. So I've tacked it to my wall. You get to see how long it is and what it looks like. I'll go in closer. So there is the tie that you see right here. It's nice and long. The hood is in the back right here, as you can see. Now I will turn it around and I will show it to you. So this will be part number 2, and in part number 3 we're going to do the diamond that will go right here, either on this side or on this side of the poncho. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the poncho around so you can also get a look at the back, and it kind of looks like a bat wing almost. As you can see right here, this is where I added more rows, and then this is your sleeve, and then this is the longer part right here. It's kind of funny how it turned out, but I think it looks really good. Kind of looks like a bat wing. Alright, so let's get to turning this around and I'll show you the back. Alrighty, so we are back, and this is what the back looks like. So there's the sleeves, there's the back. So thank you everyone for viewing this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you really liked this tribute poncho to my fur baby Diamond. And don't forget to hit that like button so I know that you enjoyed this video. And until next time everyone, bye-bye.